This is Greg Atkinson. He's a local chef. He's got a brand new restaurant called Mornay on Bainbridge Island. He's written a whole bunch of, how many books?
6 books now, Cynthia.
6 books. And this is his latest one, At the Kitchen Table. And I really like this one because it's really homey, and you talk a lot about your family, so it's got a little memoir-esque kind of thing to it. And the great thing is it's kind of like, what would you make at home if you were a chef? The more simple things you'd make at home.
Absolutely.
And so we picked out something that I thought just looked really homey, yummy, comfort foodie, and he's making cauliflower
Gratin.
Gratin.
Cauliflower gratin.
Yeah, so let's do it.
Let's start with the cauliflower.
Well, that's always good in a cauliflower gratin.
And you know, a lot of people think gratin or au gratin means with cheese. Gratin actually means crust. So sometimes it will have a little breadcrumb. Sometimes there's just kind of a crusty coat of whatever the other ingredients are. In this case, our crusty coat is nothing more than a little extra cheese put on at the end.
Nice.
So while the cauliflower's steaming...
And how long is that steam in there?
Well, until it's fork tender, it usually takes about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So during that interim, I will light your burner. It's always interesting cooking in someone else's kitchen.
Isn't it?
Yes.
There, it's up really high. Do you want that really high?
Yeah, I think I'll start it at high and then
Okay.
I'll bring it down as
Okay.
we move forward.
Butter.
Yes, a little bit of butter.
Yeah.
And you know, this is just to make a roux, and the roux is a simple combination of butter and flour. If you have issues with butter or dairy, you could thicken this instead with a roux made of, coconut oil and potato starch, or
Wow.
just about anything.
Wow, that's
it's a
creative.
very versatile recipe.
Yeah.
And sometimes I make it with vegetables other than cauliflower too. So once you have this basic technique, Cynthia, you can tweak it with all sorts of different ingredients to have
like
variations
how you
on
call
it.
me Cynthia. Everybody around here just says, "Hey, you."
Well,
Just
eventually I
life
could
lessons.
become just like them
Oh.
if you keep me around long
So
enough.
it's ROUX, right?
ROUX, not to be confused with RUE,
Yeah.
as in
Or Kanga.
roux
Kanga
tatin.
and roux.
or Kanga and roux.
Kanga and roux. Wow, look at it foaming. That's
So we got
cool.
nice foam, and then next I'll add liquid. And instead of making a classic white sauce with milk, I'm actually going to use that cooking liquid as part of the liquid. So it's sort of like a sauce velouté, if you ever heard of that, velveted.
Why you just keep using all these cool words?
Well, the French made them up, so
I like the French
we kind of
now.
have to follow their pattern if we're going to make a French dish.
Okay.
So as soon as our cauliflower is ready, we'll use that water to finish the sauce.
Okay.
I think this cauliflower might be ready now.
Yay.
See if it is indeed fork tender. Yes, just barely
And
tender.
you know, I think when cauliflower is tender like that, that's when it not only it tastes the best, but you're probably getting the most nutrients out of it. I mean, have you ever seen people just like chawing down raw cauliflower? I mean, I want a ban on that.
Should I go into my whole thing about raw food and how it takes more energy to digest it than you get from it?
Yeah, that you said it all right there.
Because I really believe in cooking. I am
do
a cook. I
too.
think cooked food is more nourishing than uncooked food.
It is.
So this water now, Cynthia, is going to have some of the vitamins and minerals that cooked out of that cauliflower.
Right.
And as you mentioned, I think they're made more available, really, the nutrients in the vegetable by cooking, because you break down those cell walls. Everything's really ready. And now we're adding a little cream.
Perfect.
This will help us absorb any fat-soluble vitamins.
That's right. That's what's so beautiful about
just think
putting
of it as-
fats with vegetables.
Yes.
It's proven. They do research on it. It's the whole deal is accurate. Cheese next.
Yes.
And this is Gruyere, correct?
It is another French ingredient. So we're going to put about half of that Gruyere cheese into the sauce.
Okay.
And then we're going to save the other half to sprinkle on top.
Okay.
And when you make a sauce like this one, ooh, that's a little more than half, but
That's
I'll
okay.
steal some back.
Think how many mistakes I make, and then you feel good.
The
Oh God, that looks good.
the sauce, when it's velouté with cheese, becomes a sauce Mornay. The French, they have a
Wow.
word for everything. Doesn't that smell good?
I
love
know.
the smell of pepper when it's carried on
Me
the
too.
aromas of dairy
Oh,
products.
that's so beautiful.
Pepper and cream.
Pepper and cream,
So next, the cauliflower is going to go right in with that sauce.
right?
Cauliflower Mornay, I mean, we could serve this just like that.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about this gratin is then it becomes a meal in itself, and it's no longer a side dish. It's actually a thing in itself.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
like with a nice salad and a glass of
I
wine.
might need to borrow your hot pad.
Okay.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
a glass of wine and a salad, maybe a crusty loaf of bread. My wife and I, Betsy and I, will have this gratin for dinner a lot of times on a weeknight. It's quick and easy. You know, the whole thing only takes a few minutes. And you could sprinkle that
Okay.
cheese right over the top.
That
Hey,
smells
did you
good.
walk the dog?
I think it's your turn.
It's not my turn.
Are you two scorekeeping? Betsy and I do that sometimes. It's really hard on the marriage.
In the
Okay,
oven.
so this goes in the oven.
375.
375. You could even go up to 400 if you're in a hurry.
Uh-huh.
We just want to make sure the sauce is bubbling around the cauliflower and the cheese is beginning to brown on top.
Okay.
Well, there it is, Cynthia, the finished
Yeah,
cauliflower
so I
gratin.
wanted to talk to you about the thing you do with the always and the never, and that helps the
Oh,
marriage.
the thing we avoid doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Betsy and I, we have an agreement that we'll try to avoid using phrases with always and never because
Right.
they so often prompt arguments,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah, that's
so,
true. Yeah.
anyway, this should be good. I'm just going to spoon up a little bit here for you.
It's kind of like mac and cheese, only better because you're getting
It's
cauliflower.
and
Yeah,
cheese.
yeah. Oh, this looks so good. Hey.
I always walk the dog.
He never walks the dog.